Hi, my name is George Belville, a realtor in Maryland, and I'm creating this video to answer the question, what's a fair price to pay for a property? And that's a big question. So one thing to consider from the start is there are a lot of different opinions that are had about the fair price of a house. So the owner has an opinion what they think the house is worth, their agent does, the buyer does, the buyer agent does, and then once you go under contract, the appraiser has an opinion on it, and the underwriter might have an opinion on it. So there are a lot of people that have a view about what the fair price is for a property. So I'm going to walk you through the process of how that's determined from the buyer perspective so you can see kind of how that plays out. So obviously when you start looking for a house, you're going to set some price parameters, you're going to do some searching, you're going to have some houses show up that are within your price range that are going to have a certain basic set of criteria that tends to be the same. You know, if you're looking for a 3-bedroom townhouse in a certain area within a certain price range, you're going to get a certain subset of houses that you're going to become familiar with, and you're going to have an idea, for that much money, this is about what I'm going to get. So you go out, you look at houses, you're going to find one that you like, hopefully, and write an offer on it. So before you submit an offer, what we do, what I hope any good agent does, is we do what's called a comparative market analysis, which is just like you do with a seller, which is you do some research, you look at properties in the area. I do plus or minus 500 square feet, plus or minus 10 years in age of the property, because obviously newer houses have newer technology and the parts are newer. But we look at all that and we come up what we think is a fair market price for that house. And then if you're my buyer, we have a conversation about, okay, here's what it looks like the price is. Where's the market now? Are we in a buyer's market or a seller's market? So this is early 2024. 2021, 2, and 3 have been strong sellers markets. So that number we come up with is just a starting point for the conversation, because most houses were selling well over asking price because there were multiple offers, multiple buyers who wanted it, and people were willing to pay more. It's not always like that. So you kind of have to evaluate the market, see what's been going on, see how quickly homes are selling, what the inventory level is, and then decide if you want to offer at that value, less, more, whatever you want to do. Like that's the buyer's decision. And sometimes in a tough market, you'll make a few offers before you actually get a house because you're just not willing to offer that amount that's going to be accepted by a seller in a strong seller's market. So you'll come up with that amount and you'll decide what you're willing to offer. And it can be really hard when the market is challenging for the buyers and they're getting beat by other people who are submitting higher offers. It's tough to lose out because you thought you offered a fair price, but someone else was just willing to pay more. And the exercise that I have my buyers do when they're deciding on what their price range is I call it the birthday party visualization, I guess, for lack of a better word. So I want you to picture that house that you like. It's a year from now, you're driving by and you see 20 cars in the driveway, balloons up everywhere, there's a big party going on, and the people who have that house now are living their best life in that house. And you find out how much they paid for the house that you didn't get. So there are going to be two aspects to that price. One is there's a price at which you find out they got it for that and you're upset because you would have paid that much or more. The other range is there's a high range where you say, you know what, if they're willing to pay that much for the house, they can have it. It's not worth that much to us. And that kind of sets your high and your low mark. So the trick is to offer a price that's high enough that you'll win and you won't be beat out by just a little bit, but also not so much that down the road, you just realize, it's too much money. So if someone's willing to pay X for it, they can have it. And that kind of gives you where your comfort level is, because when all is said and done, it's really your comfort level and your decision to put that number on an offer for a house. And what happens after that, obviously, if you get the house, you go under contract, it has to be appraised. The appraiser has to come up with their opinion of the price, and that's a little bit complicated and beyond the scope of this video. But as far as you as a buyer determining what you can afford and what you're willing to offer on the house, that pretty much sums up how it works. And it has some math and some sciencey aspects to it, but it's certainly not completely scientific. There's some emotion involved, some psychology involved, some history, a little bit of I'll call it craftsmanship of an experienced agent. So hopefully that helps you understand a little bit about what that process is going to look like before you get there, because it's good to know this before you start the process, so when it happens and you have to come up with a price, you kind of know how it's going to go. So if you have any questions or want more information, please contact us. Our information is below. Have a great day.